Welcome back to another UCL Fantasy team selection, this time out of Matchday 10, the second leg of the quarterfinals. We have 3 free transfers to use at this stage of the competition, and then it will be 5 free transfers for the first leg of the semi-finals in Matchday 11. I'll be covering all the injury updates and suspensions you need to know about, as well as my transfer plans and how I did in Matchday 9. Smash the like button and subscribe for new. We're very close to getting 23,000 subscribers, so let's be sure to reach that milestone by the end of the day. It'd be massively appreciated, and check out all the other links in the description below for the Twitter and Instagram, DylanRCM, the Patreon, Championships Discord server, the UCL Fantasy League, and Spotify and Amazon Music. Leave a 5-star review on those platforms. It goes a long way to supporting the channel. Without further ado, let's jump straight into it. I scored 52 points, which was quite underwhelming in Matchday 9, but it was enough to see a green arrow by almost 1,000 places to 5,204 in the world. So not too shabby, but once again, I got the captaincy decisions completely wrong. I had Saka as my captain during the deadline stream, but made a last-minute change to Bellingham, and if I had kept Saka, he would have been my captain for the entirety. I don't think I would have changed it. At this stage of the competition, I think if you get 7+ points, you don't switch to captaincy, because the margin for error is very small, and with these games being of high quality, evenly matched ties as we saw in the first leg, it's not really worth changing the captaincy if you get one return, especially a goal from a midfielder. But as you can see, Oblak and Lunin both blanked, and no goalkeeper, no team kept a clean sheet in the first leg, but Oblak managed to get 3 points in the end. Marquinhos got some ball recovery points, he got 3 overall. Maatsen got 2 points, Molina got 4, so not too shabby there. But my other 2 defenders were atrocious. Saliba conceded a penalty and was pretty suspect all game, very shaky from him, which is something you rarely see from the Frenchman, whilst Ruben Dias conceded an own goal against Real Madrid. Zaire Emery was benched against Barcelona, Witsel got his typical 4 points, Foden scored a wonder goal against Real Madrid and was awarded player of the match, probably not deserved, but from UCL Fantasy we'll take it, of course. And Saka scored the opening goal against Bayern Munich, and he had a decent performance overall. Let's see what he can do at the Allianz, but right now, Bayern Munich are the overwhelming favourites to progress to the semi-finals. Mbappe blanked yet again, and I say yet again because whenever I've had him in UCL Fantasy this season, he just blanks time after time again, and I didn't go for him in Matchday 7 and 8, and he was absolutely crazy. He single-handedly carried PSG to the next round, so let's see if he can do something against Barcelona in the second leg. He's certainly capable, but he was kept very quiet, and that was the first time in at least 10 to 15 games in the Champions League where Mbappe didn't register a single shot. Harry Kane scored his customary penalty against Arsenal. He seems inevitable against the Gunners, and I would back him to do very well in Matchday 10. Vinicius Jr. got 2 assists against Man City, which just leaves Bellingham, who was very underwhelming against Man City. He had one moment where he looked very promising, was a great passage of play, but apart from that, he was very anonymous. And Lunin, of course, considered 3 times to Man City as the citizens become the favourite to win the Champions League yet again. So overall, a decent outing from my team. A lot of blanks in there, but certain players like Foden, Saka, Vinicius, Kane, they were the ones that were enough. Their hauls were enough to secure a green arrow. But let's now move on to the team selection portion of this video, where I'll also discuss all the suspensions and injuries. As things stand, I've got Oblak in goal, with Marquinhos, Maatsen and Molina forming part of the backline, Bellingham, Witsel, Zaire Emery and Foden as the midfield 4, with Harry Kane, Vinicius and Mbappe up front. My bench comprised of Lunin, Ruben Dias, Saliba and Saka. No injuries whatsoever and no suspensions, but there are a few suspension risks, and remember, in Matchday 11, that's when the suspensions or the yellow cards reset, so the likes of Ruben Dias will become safe from that point onwards. He just needs to go another game without getting a booking. The same goes for Vinicius Jr. and Bellingham. But let's now talk about all the suspensions and injuries. So Alphonso Davies will miss the game against Arsenal due to accumulating 3 yellow cards, and the same goes for the following players: Tchouameni, Samuel Lino, Christensen and Sergio Roberto. All of those players are suspended and won't feature in Matchday 10, but they will return for Matchday 11 should their teams qualify for the next round. Now, in terms of players that are 1 yellow card away from suspension, that includes Ruben Dias, Akanji, Hummels, Maatsen, Skriniar, Lucas Hernandez, Ugarte, Vitinha, Araujo, João Felix, Ferran Torres, De Jong, Yamal, De Paul, Savic, Morata, Hermoso, Jimenez, Camavinga, Bellingham, Vinicius Jr., Declan Rice, Havertz, Goretzka, and Sacha Boey. And in terms of players that were suspended in Matchday 9, who are now back from suspension, Hakimi is the main one to look out for. Now, in terms of injury updates, Jurrien Timber is the only one who's currently unavailable for Arsenal. He's in full training, but he's not ready to start games yet, and Arteta said that he needs to play a full under-23 match first before he can play some games at senior level. Now, Bayern Munich have a lot of injury problems, and they include Koeman, who picked up that problem during the weekend, and he could be out for a couple of weeks with a groin injury. Gnabry is another one. Leroy Sané, but he's already in training alongside Manuel Neuer. Both of them will feature and start the game against Arsenal. Sacha Boey, Bouna Sarr, Bookman and Marusic are all out for Bayern Munich. As for Real Madrid, it's only Courtois at this moment in time. For Manchester City, Ake, Walker and Edison have all returned from injury. Atletico Madrid only have Memphis Depay sidelined due to injury. Borussia Dortmund meanwhile have Haller, Sancho, Gittins, Bamba and Bensabani all out, but Sancho is only an illness and he could be back for Matchday 10. As for Paris Saint-Germain, Mukiele could be back in a couple of days' time. Then they've got Kurzawa, Sergio Rico and Kimpembe all missing either the rest of the season in Sergio Rico's case or a few weeks in the case of Kurzawa and Kimpembe. As for Barcelona, only 2 suspensions as I mentioned earlier and no injuries whatsoever. But let's now talk about my transfer plans for Matchday 10, and I'm going to show you 2 different sets, option A or team A and option B. Let me know what you prefer down in the comment section below, and there aren't massive differences, but ultimately every transfer counts at this stage. My first set of potential transfers include buying Kubarsi, Gvardiol and Haaland, all for Marquinhos, Ruben Dias and Mbappe. You might disagree with every single transfer and I wouldn't blame you, but this is option A, and option B is probably best for structure and balance, giving me a better captaincy option for the Tuesday, and that could include buying Rafinha to then buy De Bruyne in the midfield for Zaire Emery and still buying Kubarsi with 0.3 million left over. But the other option I was considering, so this would be option C, is to buy Yamal in for Zaire Emery, and that would mean one of Haaland or Gvardiol wouldn't happen, and in the end it probably would be Ruben Dias just being kept, not buying Gvardiol. I'd still have 0.1 million left over, and I would have 2 Barcelona players this way as well, and also Erling Haaland up front. So let me know which option you prefer, option A, B or C. It all comes down to fine margins. Kubarsi would come in all scenarios, Haaland comes in for 2 of them, and Yamal comes in just for the 1. But I'm thinking that this option might be for the best, even though going without Haaland is very risky in any home game. He hasn't blanked whatsoever at the Etihad this season, and Kevin De Bruyne is excellent on his day, but he hasn't really delivered on a consistent basis this season. But of course he's a big game player and he can do it against Real Madrid as he's done in the past. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and thank you very much for watching this video and listening to this podcast. If you enjoyed it or found it useful, then be sure to smash the like button and subscribe for new. Let's get this video to the 200 likes and let's keep on pushing towards 23,000 subscribers and beyond. We're very close to achieving that milestone. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram, DylanRCM, and check all the other links in the description below for the Patreon, Championships Discord server, the UCL Fantasy League, and check out Spotify and Amazon Music. Leave a 5-star review on those podcasts. It goes a long way to supporting the channel. I wish you all the best of luck for Matchday 10 and the rest of the season, and I'll see you next time.